Welcome to a new deep dive. Today, we're plunging headfirst into the swirling currents of big tech.
Yeah, lots going on.
Definitely. We're focusing on some groundbreaking AI advancements and, well, even some pretty high-profile corporate feuds.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a stack of fascinating sources here. Internal memos, analyst reports, the whole lot. And they reveal some truly surprising shifts, major strategic plays happening right now.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive, it isn't just to read the headlines. It's to connect the dots.
Right.
So take Apple's potential Siri shift. That's not just about a new voice assistant, right? It sort of fundamentally challenges their whole philosophy, that end-to-end control they love.
Yeah, the famous walled garden.
Precisely. And that could reshape how we think about privacy and performance on, well, all our devices, potentially. That's the kind of underlying trend we want to unpack, help you understand not just what's happening, but why it actually matters.
Yeah, it matters for innovation, competition, maybe even your own phone or your investments. That's right. Because it's not just knowing the headlines, it's understanding those ripple effects, how your phone works, where investments might go, even how sports are consumed now. So let's unpack this. Okay, first up, let's talk about Apple. There's this potential blockbuster idea for Siri that's really stirring things up. We've seen a whole flurry of reports suggesting Apple is considering a really significant reversal in its AI strategy.
Yeah, it's striking, isn't it? Because Apple, after years of Siri, not quite hitting the mark.
Understatement, maybe?
Well, yeah. Even with Apple Intelligence, their generative AI stuff they announced over a year ago, now they're apparently investigating moving away from their own in-house foundation models.
Okay, so foundation models.
Yeah.
These are the core AI brains they've been building themselves.
Exactly, the very base of their AI capabilities.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving away from that is huge. It really puts the spotlight on their internal teams and maybe their ability to keep pace long term.
So what does this actually mean for, the person using the iPhone and for Apple's whole independent image?
Well, it looks like they might be eyeing external providers, the big names like OpenAI or Anthropic, to actually power Siri.
Kind of like what Amazon did with Claude for Alexa.
Exactly. Or Samsung using Google Gemini. It's a similar strategic shift.
Yeah.
And the market seems, intrigued. Apple stock saw a bit of a bump on this news.
Suggesting investors see it as maybe necessary, even if it's surprising for Apple.
Possibly. It raises that big question, though. Why would Apple, the company famous for tight integration, proprietary tech building everything from chips to software,
Right.
why would they even consider this? And it seems to boil down to two things: processing power and, crucially, privacy.
Okay, explain that.
Well, these state-of-the-art third-party models, they just demand way more processing power than you can realistically or efficiently handle right on an iPhone or a Mac today.
Gotcha. So let's break down Apple's current approach based on the sources. It's kind of two-tiered, right?
Yeah, exactly. First, you've got the on-device AI that runs right there on your iPhone, iPad, Mac. It's for, like they say, lower-tier tasks, summarizing a quick email, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And the second part?
That's the cloud-based AI. They call it private cloud compute. And that's for the heavier lifting, summarizing really long articles, writing chunks of text, handling complex questions that need more grunt work, computationally speaking.
Right. And this is where the privacy angle gets interesting, yeah. Because usually cloud makes people nervous with Apple.
Precisely. Apple's whole pitch is privacy. So even though these powerful external models need the cloud, Apple's strategy with private cloud compute is meant to keep user data separate, encrypted.
So the idea is OpenAI or Anthropic wouldn't be running deep inside the iPhone's core, but in Apple's sort of secure cloud wrapper.
That seems to be the thinking. Keep it sectioned off from the user's personal data as much as possible. It's a bet, really. Can they offer the power of these leading models without compromising that core Apple promise of data security? That's their differentiator. What's really fascinating, though, from the sources is this parallel track. They're not just looking outside.
Right.
They're apparently also still developing their own Siri version for next spring using their own Apple Foundation models. It's like a backup plan or maybe internal competition.
Yeah, it's almost a two-pronged attack, a competing project running side by side with this external evaluation.
What does that tell you?
It tells you everything, really, how seriously they're taking Siri's future, how intense the AI competition is. It shows that even a giant like Apple faces huge challenges in leading this race, especially when you're trying to deliver cutting-edge performance and stick to your core principles like privacy and integration. It suggests they're willing to think radically to make sure Siri doesn't fall further behind, even if that means, relying on outside help for some parts.
Okay, so from Apple's internal AI puzzle, let's zoom out to a different kind of challenge, one that's very public and hitting the bottom line. The drama between Elon Musk and Tesla, specifically this reignited feud with former President Trump.
Yeah, the sources are pretty blunt, calling the impact horrific for the company.
So what's the core issue here, according to the reports?
Well, it seems to revolve around federal subsidies and a pretty contentious tax bill. Trump's claiming Musk gets more subsidies than anyone in history.
Which Musk disputes.
Right. And Musk, on the other hand, has been openly criticizing Trump's spending bill, threatening to unseat lawmakers who back it, reportedly putting, what, $280 million into the election cycle to do just that.
Wow, so this isn't just political disagreement anymore, it's escalated.
Definitely seems that way. Direct attacks now.
So what does this very public back and forth mean for Tesla? For consumers, investors? The stock's been taking a hit, right?
Yeah, it's been sputtering. Dipped below that $1 trillion market cap again, had that 6-day losing streak.
Yeah.
Longest since February, apparently. So the market is definitely reacting negatively to all this drama.
But Musk has always argued Tesla doesn't need subsidies, hasn't he? That they'd be fine, maybe even better off without them.
He has, yes. He argues their lower costs and pricing power mean they can compete just fine. But that view is looking increasingly shaky. The market doesn't seem to buy it. Analysts are questioning it.
And Trump's comments directly challenge that, suggesting Musk is actually upset about potentially losing those subsidies.
Exactly, despite the public stance.
And what are the analysts saying? JP Morgan had a pretty stark number.
Yeah, that was striking. They estimate up to 40% of Tesla's profits could be at risk from regulatory shifts and losing subsidies.
40%, that's huge.
It is. And that includes things like the $7,500 federal tax credit for EV buyers. That's a massive incentive for consumers. Losing it would be a really big deal for Tesla.
Especially with reports that some Senate Republicans want to phase it out even faster, maybe by September.
Right. So it's not just one credit. It feels like the political winds could be shifting against EV incentives more broadly, which would hit Tesla's bottom line pretty hard.
And it's not just Tesla versus other EVs, is it? The sources point out the bigger competition often comes from hybrids or just regular gas cars.
That's a key point. Those are still significantly cheaper for a lot of people. So if you take away the EV subsidies, you might just push consumers away from EVs altogether, back towards traditional cars.
Which slows down the whole EV adoption curve and hits Tesla's sales.
Exactly.
Okay, beyond the subsidies, there's just the Musk factor itself. The sources suggest his political stances are starting to bite back.
It seems so. Tesla sales have kept declining, particularly in Europe, where Trump isn't popular, and Musk has also waded into polarizing debates there, backing the AfD in Germany, for example.
So there's this tangible question now. How much of the sales dip is a direct backlash against Musk himself, his personal brand?
Yeah, which is so tightly woven into Tesla's image. Is that brand, once a huge asset, becoming a liability?
What do investors think?
Well, some investors, former shareholders even, are quoted saying his marketing image is, quote, destroyed. They argue the more involved he gets in these political fights, threatening to start new parties, the worse it is for marketing.
So his taking over sales directly in North America and Europe, that might actually be counterproductive?
According to some, yeah. Because consumers increasingly do factor in a company's leadership, their values, when they buy things, especially big purchases like a car.
So amidst all this, what's happening inside Tesla day to day? There have been management shuffles, right?
Yes. Musk reportedly took over those sales roles directly after someone was fired, a direct intervention. And Tom Shu, who used to run the powerful Asia business, is now overseeing global manufacturing.
So the market's watching closely. Who's actually steering the ship, looking for stability maybe, away from the public spats?
Very much so. They want clear direction.
Okay. Let's pivot now to the broader AI landscape. Because it's not just Apple making huge plays. The stakes seem incredibly high everywhere.
Absolutely. Take Meta. They've officially restructured, launched Meta Superintelligence Labs, stocked it with, what, 13 key new hires?
Yeah, co-run by Nat Friedman, ex-GitHub CEO, and Alex Wang. That sounds like a serious move.
It's a huge restructuring. A revamped, really ambitious vision for their AI efforts clearly signals they're hitting the accelerator hard.
And here's the part that really jumps out. Zuckerberg reportedly willing to spend hundreds of billions on this race.
Yeah.
His philosophy, basically, second place is worthless.
It's incredibly stark, isn't it? He believes if you're the first to achieve Artificial General Intelligence, AGI.
That human-level AI intelligence.
Right. If you get there first, that's all that matters. It's an all-or-nothing kind of bet.
Wow. That really underscores this winner-take-all mentality around AGI.
Totally. The idea is whoever hits that milestone first reaps these enormous benefits. They stake the claim globally, they attract all the best talent.
And they lure consumers to new AI products, like those smart Ray-Ban glasses they're pushing.
Exactly. The hope is a super smart AI assistant makes those products just fly off the shelves. You get that massive first-mover advantage, capture the dominant consumer base. It's a huge prize they're chasing.
And beyond these big tech labs, AI is showing up in, well, unexpected places, like sports. Microsoft and the Premier League.
Yeah, that new partnership. It's not just a sponsorship deal. They're planning to use Microsoft's AI tools to really transform how fans engage, how the league operates.
Replacing Oracle, too, which is interesting.
It is. It signals a real shift towards embedding AI everywhere. We're talking smarter apps, deeper storytelling around the matches, real-time analytics for coaches, personalized content for fans.
So a better connection for the fan, during the game, after the game.
That's the goal. Unique insights, deeper immersion. It just shows how AI is becoming foundational for big enterprises, enhancing customer experience, boosting operations, finding new revenue.
Okay, and finally, let's look at investment strategy. General Catalyst has this interesting approach, an AI-enabled roll-up strategy. What's that about?
Yeah, it's different. They're not just funding pure AI startups. They're backing traditional service businesses. Think law firms, IT support, call centers, and then integrating AI to boost both their services and their software. Their research found AI could automate like over 30% of routine tasks in many of these industries.
So imagine a law firm where AI summarizes discovery documents instantly or drafts basic contracts.
Exactly, making the human lawyers way more efficient. So the strategy is buy these existing businesses, get their client lists, get their data.
Right, the data to train the AI.
Precisely. Refine the AI models for that specific industry and build what they call compounders. Businesses that grow fast because AI keeps making them better. Automating those basic high-volume tasks, data entry, summaries, routine customer service, freeing up people for the complex stuff.
But what's the biggest hurdle for these companies? Is it building the AI?
Apparently not so much anymore. According to the sources, the models from places like Anthropic and OpenAI are getting better all the time, more accessible. The real challenge, it's the go-to-market.
Getting customers to actually use the AI.
Yeah, getting it into their hands, into their workflows. And customers can be resistant to new tech, find it hard to implement.
So that's why buying existing businesses with client lists is key for this roll-up strategy. You already have the distribution channel.
Exactly. You own the distribution, the relationships, the data.
Yeah.
That gives you a ready-made path for AI adoption. Makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Apple's Siri struggle, the Musk-Tesla drama and its impact, Meta's huge AGI bet, AI showing up in sports, new investment angles. What's the common thread here? What does this all tell us about tech right now?
Well, what really stands out is this incredibly fierce, almost no-holds-barred race for AI dominance. It's reshaping everything.
Yeah.
Whether it's Apple maybe outsourcing its AI brains, Meta throwing hundreds of billions at AGI, or VCs buying up old-school businesses just to inject AI, everyone is betting huge on artificial intelligence. It's seen as the next massive frontier for growth, for efficiency, for just staying competitive.
The new gold rush, like you said.
Pretty much. Yeah. Everyone's scrambling for their pickaxe.
And it's not just about the tech itself, is it? The Musk-Tesla story really drives that home. Personal brands, politics, public sentiment, they can have a massive impact.
Absolutely. It's a stark reminder. Even a visionary CEO can face real backlash that shows up directly in sales figures, in the stock price. It highlights how intertwined business, public image, and politics have become. A CEO's persona can be as critical as their product roadmap these days.
Which raises a question for everyone listening, right? In this flood of information, complex tech stories, how do you figure out what's actually important, what's actionable?
Yeah, it's tough. These stories really show that dynamic interplay. Technology, market forces, human behavior, it's all mixed together. AI isn't just some technical problem being solved in a lab. It's strategic, it's social. It impacts our devices, industries, sports, even politics. The tech world feels more interconnected, maybe more volatile than ever.
So reflecting on all this, what's the big takeaway for you from this deep dive? Just seeing the sheer pace of change, these huge strategic shifts impacting even the biggest players. It's pretty wild.
It really is.
Yes.
And as AI becomes just ubiquitous, right?
Definitely.
Influencing our assistants, how sports leagues run. It makes you think. Consider this. How is this relentless push for first-to-human level AI going to reshape industries we haven't even thought about yet? And, maybe more importantly, what ethical responsibilities come with wielding that kind of power? As AI gets baked into more and more of our lives, influencing decisions everywhere, that's something we'll all need to grapple with.
A really important thought to leave people with, and that is our deep dive for today. We hope you found this look at Apple's Siri strategy, the whole Elon Musk and Tesla situation, and the wider AI landscape as insightful as we did putting it together.
Yeah, we love digging into these complex topics, trying to pull out the most important bits for you, give you that shortcut to being genuinely informed.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning and stay curious.